things to do, people to see. I'm in that there Edinburgh for at least a month, nearly a month, not quite a month. Anyway, hello. I don't know whether anybody's going to join me because this is a different time to usual. I'm in a different place. You can't really tell. It's a holiday let. Look. There's a different wall and a different that's it really. Different wall, different door, different. I'm not going to do any singing or dancing because yeah, let's not do that. Anyway, my first show was today. It should have been yesterday, but my flyers only just come. My flyers only just came. Happy blessed to you as well. Look, there they are. I don't know whether that's backwards. I think it is because I think there's something a bit wrong with it. Imagine that the other way around, and that would be pretty much of a muchness. Anyway, they came after my show was already started, which is just as well because it turned out there's only one plug point for electricity in the whole of the venue. There's about 9 or 10, but only one that actually worked. So, oh, is it going well? It's well. I've had some other people's shows. I did Political Breakfast this morning. That was fun. And I've done 2 poetry shows. It's called Adorable Comedians Telling Stories and Performing Poetry. I think it's called that. Now I had 2 of those and they were great. So even though my show didn't go ahead yesterday, I was buoyed by the fact that this is quite cool. This is going really well. But I did this thing because I'd sort of prepared a show, but it's sort of improvisational, a bit like this, but with poetry. And I'd sort of prepared a show, and I've got a basic outline of what I was going to do. And also, I've written about 6,000 words, but I haven't learned those 6,000 words. And what I did today, which I have done before in the past, is I've got this big book of poetry, and I sort of go through it and go stop, and then I just do the poetry. So that one of the person that was hosting the Adorable Comedians Do Poetry, they said, hey, I like that, is that your act? You should do that. And so it threw me a bit because I had sort of half prepared something and half not prepared something. And that's the trouble. I'm either completely prepared or completely off the cuff. And if it's a bit in between, which is what I am sort of at the moment, then I'm a bit, don't know where I am. So that's quite difficult. Anyway, so actually one of the people that was on the same bill as me came to see the show. There was also an American mother from Connecticut, whose daughter is up here with the American High School Festival, which is it's part of the Fringe Festival, the Festival Fringe. But it's sort of, there's a lot of American high schools up here doing it. It's like an exchange, and it's not. I don't know what it is. Anyway, she's up there with her daughter, and she said, I came to see you because you've got the same name as my daughter. So I was like, oh, that's nice. But she was very tired, and I was like, I thought she might be the only audience. I said, if you want to just have a sleep, and I won't do the show, we'll just use this as sort of meditation session. She was like, she did actually have a little sleep before the show, and then a few people came in. Now, one group of people came in that were, I don't know what, I'm going to say they were Italian, I don't know whether they were, and they'd actually got lost, and they were looking for my show, and I was like, all right, I haven't done anything to entice people into it, really. It's like I'm sort of like warning people away from coming. Anyway, they'd gone out of their way. There was a woman and 3 men, and they'd gone out of their way to come, whatever. And there was a young woman that was on her own that came in the back and sat down. And there was the person that was in my audience, and then some other fella who, hello, if you've watched these videos, which was very nice, and he was from Fife. And so I started doing random stuff, and I got a bit flustered because I was wearing this jumper and it suddenly got hot, and I had a fan, but strangely the fan was in my face and noisy, and I was thirsty, and I was in a basement in a chicken shop, and it was dark and I couldn't see anything. Somebody lent me these glasses because I've suddenly realised I can't read properly with my eyes. And so I was like, I can't see what I'm doing, and I suddenly went all a little bit like, wow. And then I took my jumper off and I was a little bit better, but I was still a bit flustered. So I was like randomly being me, really, and reading some poems. And the Italian tourists were just like, I was like, you can go if you want to. And they're like, thank you. And off they went. And then the young woman that was alone, I'm like, do you want to pick a poem or do you want to go? And she's like, I'll go. And I'm like, all right then. By then, no hard feelings, but the American mother stayed, and that was good because it was more of a sort of like this back and forth. Imagine this with poetry, and you're in the room, so we can have a little bit of a chat. So that's really what was happening. And the guy that had been on the same bill as me seemed to enjoy it, and the guy from Fife seemed to enjoy it, and actually, I think the American mother seemed to enjoy it because it was like a little rest from doing all the mother stuff with obviously her daughter's probably like, I've got performance and a bit stressed, and she's here sort of like, I'm not performing, what am I going to do? So she's looking for things. So she was nice, and the Fife man was nice, and the other guy. So I essentially only had 3 people in my audience, but that is more or less what I'm used to, because even when I'm doing these online things that are technically open to the world, 3 is probably about the amount of people that I maximum get. So it's all good. It's familiarity, really, isn't it? Anyway, that was nice. And then at the end, the guy who I did the gig with said, are you going to ask for donations? I'm like, I don't think so, because, you saw the show, and he's like, well, I was going to give you some money. I was like, no, don't worry about it. But the guy from Fife gave me some money, and I didn't even ask. The woman from Connecticut, she just needed a bit of a rest from her life. So it was fun, and I liked it. But it was a little bit like, maybe I shouldn't. I mean, I was torn, because I was like, maybe I should try and keep the Italian tourists and the other person and keep them here. But I mean, I'd started, and one of their friends, I think, came down to meet them, and I think maybe the friend wanted to go somewhere else, and they were like, let's go. So they went. So yes, it was fun. It was fun. Because I didn't do a show yesterday, 3 audiences is an audience. And then CJ Hooper was the poet that I'd done the show. He's an improv poet anyway. He was like, well, I like your stuff. I've seen you 3 times, because he's actually been on the same, because he was in both adorable comedians doing poetry shows. And I think he's on there every day. And he was like, no, I like your stuff. I've seen it 3 times. It's been different every time. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I was like, good. And he's like, thank you for doing this show. It's like, there's 3 people in the audience. That's an audience. I'm not going to not do the show. What do you think? If there's a 1 person in the audience and they're staying and they're enjoying it, I mean, if they leave, I'll stop doing the show. But 3 people there is a show. No people there, probably still a show. I might actually carry on doing it, going, well, I'll just practice. But I'm thinking maybe that what I had written, I didn't really touch on a little bit of it. I touched on a little bit of what I had written pre-prepared, and the poems, which are obviously from way back. But it was like, yeah, that's nice. Because the thing is, when you go like this, they tend to open in the same place. And I'm like, I've done that one already. Oh, it's the same one. And then you realise you've got more than 1 copy of something. But there was technically, I mean, there's like songs from years ago as well. So technically, there's also songs. And there's that one. That one kept coming up a lot, because this is actually typewritten from ages and ages ago. And it's sort of an improv poem in that I typed it straight in, and it's never changed, because that's first draft as it came. It's like some of these are word processed, but that's actually on a typewriter with me just doing it as I'm thinking. So I did that for a while. There's a few of those. There's only about 3 of those, but so that's fun. This is a show as well. Yes, this is a show. Exactly. So I've also got the interview show. So CJ Hooper, who I interviewed today, and also 2 gigs with, and he was in the audience for another gig. So I did 2 shows with other people where I interviewed them. I've done 2 comedian poetry shows with other people. I did the political breakfast thing, which I had to get up. It was at 9 o'clock in the morning, before the actual cafe was even open, really. I did get coffee somewhere else, and that was good, which is just, chatting about stuff that's happening in the news, which I'm going to do again later in the month. So, and then my show, and this. So, loads of shows. So, if one goes wrong, it's fine. You've got another one that's like buses, isn't it? Like buses. Yeah, so because I'm early, and because my Edinburgh flatmates are cooking stuff, picky bits. We went to Waitrose, which is really near from where we are, and got all the stuff that's reduced, because it's Sunday night and they've got to chuck it all out unless they use it. Still, because Waitrose is a posh shop, still, even though it's reduced to sell, quick sale, too good to waste sort of stuff, it's still massively expensive, even though it's way cheaper than it would have been if it was completely fresh. But it's not gone off. I hope. Anyway, we're going to eat all that. Have some gluten-free pasta and all sorts of stuff, and some Mediterranean vegetables, and I think it's like Indian style cauliflower and all sorts of nice stuff. So that's going to be good, and we're going to eat as like a family, really. Edinburgh family. My real family is back home and going, whoa, how do you work the television? Hello, Mum. I'm still getting messy. Hey, the television's broke. How do you fix it? It's like, I don't know. I'm not there to fiddle with it. Get somebody else to do it. My brother's there. He'll sort it out. It's all good. So, yeah. So this is going to be a rather brief show because almost certainly in the next 5 minutes I'm going to go, is the food ready? And the food will be ready. Is there good food? Is there good food? There is good food. It's all left over. It's fresh food-ish food. On the verge of not being fresh, but yes, so that's what it is. And somebody's cooking it. I'm not used to this because I usually do all the cooking at home. It's like somebody else is cooking for me. Yes, please. Yes, please. So they're all there cooking. It's all, there is good food. There is good food. Keep saying it. There is good food. That's the good food show. So yeah. So this is so I'm going to just randomly give you a poem. Tell me when to stop. La, tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. No, low. Tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. Chase, you're the only one in the stop. Stop. I'll stop there. Okay. Success. Stop. Yeah, too late. I've already stopped. It keeps stopping at the same one. I ended up doing this one loads of times. So you do it. Success. I finally won a medal for Olympic gold for hop, jump, and sliding down a slide. Had to write an essay as a tie. My ex-games teacher smiling, saying how happy she was that I'd stopped trying to do things that were beyond my capabilities. Bumped into the old head boy, my academic rival. He won a cheese and onion medal for English composition, a category nobody had told me about. Realised I'd been in the wrong game from the start. Obviously that was a dream, an actual dream I had. That's what my subconscious does to me. My subconscious is going, what a waste of time that was, eh? You could have been winning crisps for something else. You're really struggling up the wrong tree. That's not even a saying, is it? Oh, let's just do another one. Stop. Tell me when to 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 stop. Come on, Chase. Tell me when to stop. No, stop. I'm keeping going. I'm nearly stopping. Nearly stop. Okay, Last Supper. Oh, this is a sad one. My grandmother, who's no longer with us, neither of them, but Last Supper. In the corner, the newly married ones flaunt their status, giggling and feeding from each other's forks. At the table head, smiling but ignored, the birthday guest. Everybody orders. She complains. Can't eat garlic. What's that there? No! Stop making so much fuss. Fish! I had some chicken yesterday. I won't eat it again. Ooh, seagulls. Seagulls making noises outside. A plate of fish and chips is brought. She picks at it miserably. We'll do this again next year. They smile at her. She tuts as plans are made. The big one soon. She knows. Anyway, that was it. I mean, my auntie, who's actually my cousin, my second cousin, who was my dad's cousin, but is my first cousin once removed. My dad's cousin, Auntie May, who's older than my dad. So the newly married ones, my dad's cousin Claire, who's just Claire, because she's much younger. She's only about 15 years older than me. So Claire was there with her new husband, who was the same age as my dad, a lot older than Claire, and Auntie May. And Auntie May was like, well, we've got to make sure that Auntie Ede, who was my grandmother, was Edith, Auntie Ede's 100th birthday party, that'll be, or her 90th birthday party. I mean, 100th was quite a long way away, but she was like, we've got to make sure that we celebrate the 90th. Don't make plans. Plans are laughed at by the gods, if there are indeed gods. Let's do one more, and then I'll probably go and have some food. So come on, this is sort of a preview of my show. Keep going in that. Oh, what I'm doing, and nor does anyone else. They're like, why are we here? Stop. Okay. We were. Okay. Oh, cowboy. Shall I do cowboy? Yeah. Cowboy. A good relationship with your horse. Always remember his birthday. Hanging with the boys. Well hung, you say. Great with whips and ropes and guns. Not so hot with reality. Well, you can clean up the bullshit now, cowboy. It's quite an early poem. It's like, okay. Maygrove Road, NW6. Yeah, that's Maygrove Road, NW6. That is, yeah, that's not as long ago as I thought that I wrote that. There's another one. We were just talking about him, how much he looked like the old one, how much he looked like the new one. When there he was, miles from where we should have been. We were trying to avoid him, but of course he saw us, not seeing him, and so we had to smile. We were just saying how bad he looked, how unpleasant he was when he came back from the bar with our drinks. We said we liked his tie. Anyway, okay, let's leave it there and yes, move on swiftly. There's loads of poems, and so I wish they wouldn't keep falling out. It's like stop. That it's like 200 poems, and I'm ending up doing the same two. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to move them around so that the page that falls open stops going. Yeah, thank you. You have fun too. Anyway, if you are catching this up at a later date, nice to see you. I'm sorry that I did it early, but as I say, food takes precedence, and it's a long month. I need some food. Sustenance. All right then. See you soon, and thank you for joining me. And if you just joined me, sorry. Just go back and watch it, and I'll catch you again maybe next week. I'm going to try and get one next week, but it might be early. It might be a bit random. All right then. Bye bye.